Hello everyone, Lambert here with Jim today for the episode 8 of our series How We Grow at Kai. And today, special episode for some reason. As you see, last episode we was both in the same room in Caparica, and today we are back to our flats, and we will discuss today about what we did last week. That's mean the hackathon. This is gonna be the full subject of this episode. The why, the how, the different things that we do, the funny experiment, also the chill moment with the team. So yeah, that's gonna be the topic. How are you, Jim?
Doing great. Yeah, thank you. Excited.
Nice. New haircut. Love it.
Perfect.
Yeah, nice. So yeah, today deep diving on the hackathon. Let's start. So as I said last week, we had 5 weeks, 5 day or 6 day in Caparica in amazing place. Like it was amazing. We had the sauna, the swimming pool, different things. We was also very close to the sea, and we was with the whole team, which was a good time. So yeah, Jim, I will let you describe a bit what is an hackathon and what basically is for the team and when we do it and those kind of things.
Yeah. So actually, when I tell my friends that I'm about to have yet another hackathon with the team, they're always asking like, and so you guys are organizing like a competition or like what's the prize and so on. So because technically that's what it is, right? A hackathon is like different teams that are competing together for one problem, and then there's a winner. We call them hackathon, but it's not like textbook definition of a hackathon. For us, it's more like the team gets together one week. It's a very intense sprint. So everyone is working many hours and everyone has a different problem to solve. So we're not competing against each other to solve the same problem. It's just everyone has their own area of focus. So Lambert and I, we focus on always growth related stuff. Sometimes going to be on the product side, sometimes really on the marketing side. In this case, it was a bit of both. And then you have the dev team that are working on backend, front end, data, AI. And then David and Danny are usually working on UI, UX. So this is what we call a hackathon. Basically, the whole team gets together for a week. We lock in, work many hours, brainstorm, work together, and solve problems that will make Kai better. The during the hackathon and also like moving forward. So that's also what we try to do is always ship stuff during the hackathon so we can get feedback and then use the next few days to iterate and fine tune a feature or marketing campaign that we're taking care of.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. But also, so we have those moments that we are focused, working all together. But the cool thing is we also have a moment when we eat together, when we are chilling in the swimming pool. We also we went also to the beach with all the team, have a restaurant. And I don't know what is your what do you what you think about it? But to me, it's super important because we can have other discussions and just work, know better each other, and also build a real team spirit. Where, like for example, I just bring my this my my skimboard. My skimboard during the hackathon, and we went with the whole team, and it was super funny because at the beach we was like trying to scheme, and this is very different. So also I think it's the thing that's super interesting during this kind of moment. We can just also discover each other, even if we working 12 hours per day, but always interesting.
Yeah, it's true. And also we work remotely. So most people are, well, living in other countries, if not other continents. And yet I feel like there's still a very good culture and team spirit within the company. And I think it's because we do these get together every couple months. And so, yeah, it builds intimacy, it builds trust. And then when we do the other next 2 months online, I think the relationship between teammates gets to another level. And that's also super important when working together on the product and so on, and making sure that we're all aligned. I think it starts with trust. And this is a really nice environment to build it, to get to know each other, like you said. and talk about other things than Kai or, tech and whatnot. So indeed, it's not just the 12-hour day. It's like the whole vibe and the laughs and the chilling.
Yeah, exactly. The World Cup games was also a funny moment with the team when you have a French, a man from UK and a Spanish guy. So yeah, it was a funny week. And so we are doing this for different reasons, but I think the moment that we are doing it, so we are in July, and kind of in 2 months we're gonna launch the product, and I think this is one of those the reason that's why we are want to have those hackathon. Now we had 3 hackathon this year. Probably we'll have one, I don't know, maybe it's in September, but it's also because we are launching the product. And yeah, as you said, it's probably way better to be in group, to have discussion. And we are going to be back to this topic right after, but we are close to launch the product. So this is the right moment to be all together and to make sure that the product is aligned. We take all feedbacks and we try to improve the product and the over in the product side, but also in the growth and the marketing side. So yeah, this is super interesting. No, we can maybe see what each other was doing in the growth part. So yeah, let me know. You can start. I will keep continue after.
Okay.
Let me know what was your goal during the hackathon. What do you do? And yeah, what are you fine with the output or could be improved?
Yeah. So let's start with the goals. So we'd identified 2 goals with the hackathon. The first one was related to activation. The second one was related to team expansion and collaboration. So both of those are very growth first initiatives. And so for activation, the goal was to rework the onboarding. The original onboarding was something we built quickly to get started and have our first few users. And we noticed that when we do these user testing interviews, where I sit with a user on the call and they interact with Kai for the first time and they go through the onboarding, we could feel that there was a lot of friction in the onboarding. It was something very long. People had to connect a lot of tools and they didn't know why they had to connect these tools. And it was very broken. It did the job for what it needed to do, but we knew it had to be improved. And that's for the small percentage of user I got to see and talk to while they were onboarding. Then there was also the data side, which was very low activation rate, I think around 15 to 20%, which, we have a brand new product. The people that are trying the product are usually high intent. So it's not normal that only 1 in 5 people gets to the end of the onboarding. So the goal of the hackathon was to rework that. And so I worked together with our CTO, Marco. We brainstormed a bit some approach. And yeah, essentially we completely re-engineered the onboarding. I think we can keep that for some later session where, we'll delve deep into the onboarding, the UI, the decisions we made and why. But essentially now it's actually a longer version of the onboarding, but the approach is different. We start by providing more value up front. So we motivate the user to pursue the journey. There's a bit more of gamification, rewarding system, and so on. So we're actually really happy with the onboarding now. We'll see how the metrics turn out. So that was the first part. Second part was collaboration and teams. And here was right now, Kai is a very individual first product. It's your personal executive assistant. And my goal last week was to open the playground for what would it mean for Kai to be a collaborative tool. If different teams had to work together through Kai, what would it mean? What would it look like? And so I worked on all the designs and the concept and the actual implementation of these collaborative features in app. And so, yeah, some really cool stuff also here. So, ability to share tasks and to work together on tasks, ability to share meetings, ability to share briefs. And so, yeah, also worked on that and had some pretty cool demos, even though I couldn't touch the backend to make it work locally. And I think it's going to be interesting also to see how we prioritize this in the next few weeks. So these were the main 2 tasks, and I was actually done with them in essentially 3 days, 3.5 days. So I had another day and a half to, to explore a bit and see what else can be done. And so I went on a side quest where I took collaboration a bit further, and I came up with the idea of agent collaboration. So agent collaboration is essentially how you can delegate tasks to an AI. And in our case, the AI, so Kai is the one that gathers context, but the AI that will do the task is going to be some other AI, right? So we came up with a feature, do it with Claude, which basically is a one-click button where you can delegate a task with all of the context to another agent to execute it. So demoed that. The team was super excited about it. I'm going to spend now the next couple of weeks exploring the go-to-market and also further implementation of that feature. So for me, the two first topics I think was really, really nice, very well perceived by the team, great demos. The onboarding is already live. Team exploration is going to take a lot longer, but now we have a solid pitch, solid value proposition enabled. And it might be something that will develop in the next 2-3 months. And the last one, the side quest, where the team absolutely loved it. It's also already live. So I think, yeah, the hackathon was pretty successful. That's a very interesting areas were approached.
Nice, nice, nice. And I want before describing the thing that I was working on, I want to coming back on the last feature that you say. So it was a side quest. I will share my screen just to let people understand what's the future, and then we will discuss a bit about it. So basically, the thing with this is this side quest create around the team, I think, especially David and I, this aha moment, because we never see any other tool that let us able to, after a meeting with the whole context of your emails, having a button in your task that directly open something from Claude. To Claude from Kai, and this is super helpful. And a quick question around that: where did come the idea? Is because we had this hackathon, this synergy, and then you have some discussion, or just like something like you see on the on Google, or random idea coming from a problem that you have?
Yeah, it's something I've been exploring for, like, I guess 3-4 weeks. Like I already had I had already done some research on that. And I think the idea was sitting in my head fairly deconstructed and abstract up until the hackathon, where it just made sense. I was working in collaboration, and I think I had built like the underlying foundation for the idea for that to be the right time for the idea to emerge. So at some point it was just an evidence, and yeah, all the parts were already there. It was pretty clear in my head what needed to be done. I think it also stems from the fact that we're still learning a lot about Kai and what's our positioning in the market. And there's something that tells me that AI is becoming more and more powerful, and more people are offloading more work to their main executors, so Claude or Codex. And it got me thinking a while back, like, what's going to be the position of Kai in the future where everything is agentic? And I think the strength of Kai is capturing context in really the day-to-day. More and more people are building these knowledge bases, which are super strategic and super directional. But the problem is they don't capture really the day-to-day, the email, the meeting you had with your colleague, the latest Slack message. And that's what Kai is really good at. And I thought, okay, if maybe that can be the position of Kai, to be that bridge between strategic knowledge base where Codex or Claude Code are going to be executing, and Kai that grabs the real world, then I think we have a real strong value proposition. And we have a lot of team expertise to solve that internally as well. So I think it's the feature came out like this. I think we're well positioned to build it. And I think it's a bit of a strategic bet if we pursue it. It's a brand new market. There's no, like you said, there's not a lot of tools offering it, or not that we know of. And there's no playbook that has been defined. So it might be one of the first ones to build it, which, is a risk, but can also be very high reward. So it's a bit of a background.
Nice, 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 nice. Yeah, that's the challenge now: how to market it, how to make sure that fit with the customers. Then yeah, for me during this hackathon, I was working in 3 main topics. So acquisition parts and a bit of activation. First, the acquisition part. So the thing is, we have a lot of things that we can do with Kai, and we run also a lot of content on social media, but we don't have any clear things on the website that can help people to understand the flow. So that's why I was working a bit on the use case, on different pages use case that will explain clearly to the users what they can do. And also we want to try to push a bit the Kai MCP because it's something that is very useful. Any example, like you can connect the Kai MCP to Claude or ChatGPT, also Cursor, but you can then be on the beach, on the street, or wherever, on the coffee, and I just ask by the voice through ChatGPT something about your next meeting or email, and start to create something around that. So those things are not very easy to explain. So that's why we try to create those use cases page, and also try to create, as we said last week during our last episode, create something that very SEO oriented. So having those different page linked with our YouTube video, our social media content. So that's the first thing that I was working on. Now we have like 4 use cases on the website. I'm working on a new one that will be released during this week, linked with what Jim cook this week. So the second one is a bit of mix of acquisition and activation, which is the way that you can import your data from other tool directly to Kai. That can be the memory from from the LLM that you're using daily, ChatGPT or Claude. In this case, you can directly import all your memory, and then Kai will be aware about different things that are very specific, because Kai, we know that when you're using Kai, using it mostly for emails and meeting, and there is not the same context than what you have in your daily LLM, daily assistant that you can use. So that's help. Also, the goal here now is to implement it in the onboarding. And the second kind of importation that I was working on is basically the competitors. We start with Granola. Granola have a lot of paywall in it. So basically you have your meetings, and 30 days after you cannot have your meeting back. You cannot check the summarization, the transcript. You cannot continue the conversation with their AI. So the goal here is just to export all your meeting from Granola, implement them in Kai, and then keep continuing conversation. And that also will help with the memory. And around that, I want to build some strong acquisition strategy. That means help people to understand how they can make the pass between Granola and Kai. And also the final goal is to have a very personalized onboarding for the people that coming from Granola, start the process of the importation, and then that can help them for the very last day on Kai. The last thing that I was working on is very related to acquisition, but it's ads on the website. So now we have lot of pages, strong design system, so we can create very, very nice landing page and ads oriented. So here the goal was also to start those campaign. And those 3 projects are going pretty well. We'll start the ads this week and finish the use case this week. But yeah, it was a mix of acquisition and activation linked with the gym work and also the dev port.
So you asked me if my hackathon was successful. How do you evaluate yours?
I think it was successful for those reasons that everything have been achieved, and I learned a lot of things around how I work during the hackathon, also regarding the app, because I think it's the first time that I was deep diving really in the app in Kai. I mean, working in it. So now I understand way more the different flow. For example, how works the memory, but how work the different feature, because I was really, can say, in the code and talking with Claude, how can we process about this. So we had some output, but also I had a lot of learnings in our product, and And yeah, that's also something that we don't put it at the first step of our hackathon as a goal, but I think it's very important. Those kind of those kind of tasks help us to understand our product. So yeah, I think it was successful. And yeah, also we have another thing to talk about regarding the what we build here. For some context, it's also a part of what we do during the hackathon, but we hire someone to do some content for us, especially on social media like Instagram and TikTok. So we hire Lo, and Lo did a good job on social media. She created a lot of reel, a lot of TikToks, and we start to have some impressions, some views, some people that are redirecting on the website. And yeah, I want to talk a bit about this because we was thinking about it, I think, since 1 month, to have someone with us to film, to editing, to have a strategy, and also someone who have a background in this and that can help. So yeah, I think yeah, let me know a bit more about this, why we hire her, and what was a bit the first pitch that you give to her.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think it comes down to the very first podcast we had here where we said like we want to lead with the human. This is the only thing that AI won't replace. We can automate everything, but if we can be human, people will like that. And so early on, we started investing in content and visibility and already social media. Like you, Lambert, you had built already some videos, and we had some decent results that at least validated that it's something that we wanted to pursue. And so, yeah, a few weeks ago, we started looking for someone who would join us the whole week in the villa, who'd literally like sleep with us and eat with us and work with us, and would capture like the work part of the week, but also like the fun parts of the week. And their role would be to make edits around that and turn that into short form content for Instagram and TikTok. And so, yeah, as you said, we hired Lo in. Yeah, the angle that we wanted to go for was very top of funnel. It's very just like branding and awareness driven. And you can have a look on our socials, but we're really trying to lead with funny skits around our persona. And our persona, we're still trying to figure out who it is, but we have some hunches that it's going to be like the vibe coder or the engineer that uses Claude Code or the marketer that uses Claude Code. And so there's a lot of skits on like the startup culture, how vibe coders work. And so the pitch I gave to Lo was literally capture the energy. We were doing some cool stuff when we're doing these hackathons. And I think the problem is that we're the ones that have to capture the energy as well. And that's what we had done in the past. So we all bring our cameras, we bring our gear, we try to film each other. But then, you know, you have to film yourself, you have to build, you have to whatever, like it's starting to be a lot of scope. And so the mission for Lo was capturing the energy. And we told build or to create up to 20, minimum 20 short form contents. I think she did like something like 25, 30. So the goal was definitely achieved on the volume side. And now we have also a huge library of assets that we can use for further editing. And yeah, the cool thing is we had some pretty cool results. I think we had like 2 or 3 reels that went viral with a couple of 100,000 views. And it's great because it's the first time we're running this experiment, and the fact that it's picking up, it's very encouraging for what's coming next and where we want to continue steering this strategy.
Yeah, I was just double checking. We reached during the last week 400K view, so it's it's nice. And the thing is, they're keep performing, so the goal is achieved. We also double our followers, so that's nice. And the thing is, now we try to have lot of things to start to build a strategy, which is the hooks that work, the different content or raw content that we have now. We can start to build the new content and try to double down on it. What we miss probably, and that's gonna come in the next weeks, months, is how can we build some bottom of the funnel content and make sure that people now go to our website and start to using Kai because they see us on Instagram and TikTok, and it's gonna be a tough work. But if if it's gonna be amazing for us.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's we can say that we start with something. Now we have a strong start, and we need to keep going on
Yeah,
this.
of course. Because like the fact that we had 400K views, it means that what we did was working, but also we're not lying to ourselves. Like we also know how many people clicked the website. Out of 400K views, I think we had, let's say, I don't know, 40 clicks. So that's a
Mm.
0.001% conversion rate. I guess what we validated was we can do good content. We can do content that people like. We are also warming up the algorithm. We're warming up our page. And now I think we have a new problem to solve, which is how do we go a step further down in the funnel to maybe create middle of funnel or bottom of funnel content and try
Mm-hmm.
to use the hooks and the practices that we've used for these viral reels, but into these more bottom and middle funnel of content. So we can get reach and conversions, or at least like, impressions on the website and so on. So yeah, I think we have a new problem to solve, which is very good. We solve one problem at a time, and that's how we grow.
Yeah, exactly. I was just checking. So yeah, since we start, we had 70 people coming from Instagram and 10 people that sign up.
Mhm.
So that's nice, but we can definitely improve those
Yeah,
numbers. When you see the impression and the people that see our content, the rate is very, very low. So
yeah. And I mean, we hired someone full time for a week. It should definitely be worth more than 10 signups. We're very
mm,
conscious of that. But again, I think with what we wanted to learn and validate, we did. And the cool thing is we have now so many assets as well that we'll be using for the next 6 months, and we'll just reuse and recycle, rinse, repeat.
yeah, nice. So we see a bit what we do regarding our growth ports. Now I think it could be interesting to discuss a bit more about the life in the house. Not very the life, but how the day work. Basically, we are working the days, all the days, but there is also those moments that we have the the demo time. The demo time is basically everyone come with what he's working on and showing to the team the result, and then there is a very long conversation regarding every decision that we want to do. And I really want to take a moment to talk about this because, like for example, we can have a demo time. And the demo time will take like 3 or 4 hours because we are gonna talk during 1 hour around a specific thing that someone work on. And to me, I really think it's super important to have those kind of conversation because that lead our strategy, that lead our overview of the product that we want to take and the different things. So yeah, let's maybe talk a bit about those kind of conversation that we can have during those hackathon, even if it's not during the demo time, during the lunch, during the different moment that we are together. We can talk way more than just being together remotely.
Mhm.
It's way different.
Yeah, I have a bit of a contrarian view on that. While I think so, indeed, like we would demo something, and I think a couple of times it lasted up to 4 hours. And I think there's a thin line between arguing over something in a productive way and then just wasting each other's time on very philosophical takes. And I think when a conversation lasts 4 hours, I think you're you're more on that side. And it's we have very passionate people on the team. They're passionate about the problem in the space. And so, yeah, sometimes like the discussion will take an hour on where a button should be. And I think in my perspective, and like you say, it's very important to have these discussions, and it builds trust to have these discussions because it's very productive conflict. And yeah, when we can exchange ideas and so on, we trust each other more. But I think, yeah, sometimes we need a timekeeper and we need someone who's like, guys, like, this is too much. Let's
Mm.
stop it. I have a fairly short attention span, so you can get my attention for 50 minutes. But after that, I'm gone. And yeah, a few times after like an hour and a half, 2 hours, I was like, okay, guys, I can stay with you anymore. I'm going to go to the sauna and work there.
Mm.
So my take is a bit different. I think those conversations need to happen within a reasonable time frame. And I think we missed that a bit, like someone, yeah, owning time and making the decision when clearly there's too much debate. I don't know what's your take on this.
Yeah, I also had the feeling that at some point it's very complicated to stay focused during 4 hours in very, very little like decision on the product. But it's also a bit interesting to see how devs think about, because for me, maybe less for you, but for me, I don't really understand how work, the back end, the front end, how everything is linked. And sometimes we have like that, for example, Danny is the guy on our team that discovered the vibe coding 2-3 months ago, and he's very like passionate about the productivity and Kai, and he tried different experimentation. So that's why when we have those demo time, he's coming with 5-6 things to demo that are very deep, and we have those conversation, and that's very interesting for me to see why at some point some things are not able to do, or we can do it because of this link with the front end, the back end, and whatever the devs are talking about. That's help overall to understand. But agree, at some point there is some debate that don't need to going that deep. And also the thing is, we are discussing about, yeah, sometimes the sidebar, the CTAs, the different element of the product, but it's a bit of waste of time because we don't have real feedback on it. Like sometimes we are gonna talk about something, but we don't have user feedback. We have just internal feedback, which is good. But maybe we should try something and then see the feedbacks and then adjust the strategy. So yeah, I agree. At some point it depends, and also in the team there is very specific profile that like a tool in some way, and they will don't like other things in the tool, but that don't mean it's bad or good, but it's just their very personal way to work. So yeah, there is those 50-50, but those kind of discussions still interesting, and indeed not for 4 hours because they're very complicated to be focused.
Yeah. And like you say, we have different profiles. And like Danny, for example, when he debates or when he argues for something, he's literally going to name users who give that. Like he's so close to users. He'll be like, but Anna wants this and Emily said this. And like, he's very, very, yeah, like realistic in terms of the reality of the world. And like you said, like the devs are going to talk about implementation and front and back. We're going to think about how we distribute it and what's the growth potential. So there's a lot of insights, but then it's also difficult to find one solution that works for everyone, right? So very interesting conversations. Too long, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, at the end, we have our CEO that take decision, the key decision. I mean, linked with those conversation and try to cut off the topics. But when they all also are too deep with the team, we cannot stop them. So yeah, I agree. And yeah, that was the hackathon. I think we also have some idea this or this. So we start to craft a bit of some hoodies for the team, which is nice, and that's could be interesting to see what Dave, our brand designer, did. So he created the whole Kai branding. What is how his thought about what we build. We also have a sweet sweatshirt, but I will put a picture on the article. Then you will be able to see all the goodies, and who knows, maybe we will sell some of them. But yeah, we will receive everything for this hackathon, and I was like, whoa! We also have some stickers now. So when we are going to work in a public place, I'm like, whoa! People know about it exactly. Then I'm pretty sure like it's a new way
Of course.
to have some users.
Yeah. back to sharing flyers in the street and good old stickers.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, that's it regarding the hackathon. Do you have any other topic that you want to cover around it?
I mean, yeah, it was great vibes. I think we built a lot, some cool new features, and on the content side with also lots of learning. I guess now next problem to solve is how do we make more high intent content that performs just as well. And yeah, that's all. I think we covered a good amount.
So yeah, the next step for the summer, I think, are pretty clear. Having first paying users, that could be a good achievement during the next weeks, but also improve our acquisition of users. That's mean being sure that people seeing us on social media, seeing us on Google Search. I start to see very green flags regarding the SEO. So let's see how it goes. But yeah, and then implement those things that we was working during the hackathon. I think it's very important to don't keep them park and stop working with, but maybe keep going on it. And yeah, I think it's the next step of the next weeks.
Nice, great, exciting.
Yeah, and also, if I remember, we will reach some people for the start, the launch of the product, right?
What do you mean?
We will reach out with some people to talk about our product for the launch.
Yeah,
Influencer or
influencer marketing.
depend.
Yeah.
That's gonna be also a bit of our work for the next weeks.
Yeah, for sure, big chunk.
And yeah, I think that's it.
Great, let's leave it here then.
Yeah, let's close the episode. So you will find the article linked in somewhere if you're listening the podcast. And in the article, we'll provide you a bit of numbers regarding the hackathon, some maybe funny moments. The Instagram also. If you really want to see what's happened, I think our Instagram account is a good thing to check. We have a lot of content from the hackathon. And yeah, an overview of the thing that we ship also will be on the article. So make sure you can to take a look if you're interested. Then guys, see you in the next episode next week, and have a great week, everyone.
Thanks, guys. See you soon.